I'm Marc Joffe, Principal Consultant at Public Sector Credit Solutions, a firm that does research into municipal and sovereign credit risk. A lot of people are concerned right now about the solvency of the Puerto Rican government. Currently, as we speak, Puerto Rico municipal bonds are trading at about 8%, which is way above U.S. Treasuries, is also way above every other state in the United States. So that seems to indicate that there's a perception among investors that there's a lot of risk in Puerto Rico bonds. Each year, Puerto Rico, like all municipal issuers in the United States, publishes audited financial statements. So when I look at the Puerto Rico Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, I find that the interest costs of the government account for about 10% of total spending. Now, I've looked at the history of municipal securities going all the way back to the 19th century. No state or territory has defaulted on its municipal bonds in the last 80 years. The last major default was that of Arkansas in 1933. If we look at Arkansas's ratio of interest to total revenue, just before it defaulted, it was 30%. So again, that compares to 10 to 11% for Puerto Rico. So what that tells me is Puerto Rico has quite a long way to go before it would actually default. The current financial ratios of the Commonwealth are not at the level that one would associate with a default. The government of Puerto Rico could do a lot to allay investor fears about risk. One of the things that I found when analyzing Puerto Rico's financial disclosures is that they're much less complete than those of any U.S. state. So for example, I couldn't find multiple year revenue and expenditure projections for Puerto Rico, which is really unique. Another thing that really surprised me when I worked with Puerto Rico disclosure is that the last fiscal year ended in June 2013, June 30th, 2013. And yet, right now, I still can't go to Puerto Rico's website and find what the total revenues were and the total expenditures were for the fiscal year 2013. So when you have things like that, it creates a perception on the part of investors that maybe there's something to hide, maybe there's something that we don't understand. So with better transparency, I believe that the market will reprice Puerto Rico's debt so that it is more consistent with those of other municipal bond issuers.